Hiya, I'm Paul, one of the trainers here at Complete Training Services Limited. Part of your Module 3 DVSA test, you'll be asked to uncouple the tractor unit and the trailer. So the one part that we need to think about when you're doing your test is remembering a magic word that we use called black. Now black stands for the following. B is for your trailer brake. L is for the legs. As we come in between the tractor unit and the trailer, A stands for your airlines and ancillaries. If we come round towards the fifth wheel section of the vehicle, we're now talking about C and K. C is the dog clip just located here, and K stands for the kingpin. So now we're going to actually start using that system of black. First thing you need to consider is making sure that your trailer is on firm level ground, and you've also got the correct PPE, that you've got your work gloves on as well. So as I stated before, now we're going to look at B, which stands for the brake. So we're going to come over to the trailer and apply the brake. Make sure it's pulled up and stays in place. We're now going to move on to the next section, which is the legs, and lowering the legs down towards the ground. So come on out, pull the handle on out and lower the legs. Making sure you put your handle away safely. Now we're going to move up onto the catwalk to do the airlines. So different vehicles have different types of wind flexors, so it's worth looking at and seeing on what vehicle that you're actually training on or actually using and how it operates. On this vehicle, I'm just going to pull it out towards the front of the vehicle. Now making sure that I've got my 3 points of contact, so one hand up here on the right, one here on the left, keeping the 3 points and using the steps to come up onto the catwalk. Now you can see here that we've got the airlines and the electrics in front of us. This can be quite hazardous, and making sure that you need to take special care when dealing with the airlines. There is an awful lot amount of pressure on the end of these lines. So, get myself in position, making sure that the airlines are right here in front of me. And what I'm actually looking at the moment now is when I come to adjust the airline, is making sure that the collar and the dot are aligned. When I come to undo the airline, I'm making sure that I've got a good firm grip, and I actually pull down the lever round the collar until the air actually releases. Hold on with both hands, and it will be quite noisy when you're actually doing this as well. Going to put the airline in the safe area of storage. Different trucks again have different locations. It's worth asking your trainer where these need to be when you're doing that. With this airline, it's the same principle, except for I'm going to push up, line up with the dot, pushing it up, making sure I'm holding on to that airline. Again, safe place of storage to be correct. Now I'm going to come to do my electrics. Some vehicles may have different colours with the electrics. On this trailer we have a white and black system. So I'm just going to undo the white cable, lay it down loosely for a second, and undo the black cable as well. With the ABS lead, which is the one in the middle, it has this metal clip. When you come to undo the cable, it's important that you basically put your thumb on the top, undo the clip and let it slide on out. Try not to hold the cable at the end, because that can cause damage. Once you've got your electric cables away, put them into a nice safe place. And again, lock that ABS cable in place, grabbing the extra other 2 lines, and again, trying to keep them all nice and neat and tidy. The last thing we want to be doing is having the leads crossed over and causing tangle, which can obviously then cause damage to them, which they may obviously affect when you come to reload the vehicle onto another trailer or the trailer that we're dealing with today. Coming on out, making sure that we've got our 3 points of contact, so hand on the left, hand on the right, and use the full steps to come on down. When you're fully down, make sure you push the wind deflector or pull it and put it into the correct position as it was before. Now we're going to talk about C and K. First one we're going to do is C. Some vehicles you may have skirts, so you may have to reach over on this bit, but here for the demonstration purposes I'm able to come underneath the trailer. Now with the clip you'll always have 2. The one you want to focus on is the one located nearest to the fifth wheel itself. When we go to the clip, push the clip in, push it up So it releases and let it lie down loose. Now that we've done the clip, now we're going to do K, which is the kingpin. As you come on up, come on in, grab the handle, move the handle slightly forward and pull. There is a notch on the actual bar itself. As soon as you see the notch, move the lever forward, keep it moving it towards the front and make sure that the handle is now locked in place. What you've done now is now opened up the jaws, ready now to make sure that the trailer will actually come off from the tractor unit. So now that we've undone the clip, make sure you've got your gloves off so you're not getting any fifth wheel grease or any dirt or grime onto the handle. And we're going to go into the actual vehicle now to start the engine and move the vehicle out with the tractor unit. So again, open the door fully, remember your health and safety, put your gloves away, using the 3 points of contact and handles and climbing on up into the cab. Make sure you fully close the door after you. So the next process now I'm going to do now is get myself comfortable and start the vehicle engine on up. I'm now going to engage drive on the vehicle, and what I'm listening for now is when I move the vehicle forward, I'm either listening for a click or feeling the actual weight of the trailer releasing from the back of the vehicle. Checking all around me with good round observations, check over on that blind spot and then gradually just moving the vehicle forward. There's my click and I've now released. Now what I'm going to do now is looking at actually lowering the suspension on the actual tractor unit. So I'm just going to apply the handbrake and now I'm going to locate the vehicle's suspension control. What I'm looking for while I'm on the controller is I'm going to press the controller 2 clicks to the right. My arrows now have gone red. What I'm going to do now is press the down arrow and watch the actual arrow itself. As soon as that arrow has finished flashing, I'm going to press and hold the stop button for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now what that has done now has lowered the tractor unit's rear suspension in a low position so that the actual trailer will now and the tractor unit will come out quite nice and smoothly without the actual wheel arches actually coming in contact with the actual trailer itself. So again, checking on my mirrors, checking on my blind spot, slowly moving the vehicle nice and slowly forward. It's important not to rush at this stage as we don't want the suspension to jump up. Once the vehicle is clear, which position he wants you to park on the trailer. For this, on the right. Before we select reverse gear, all round observations and watch as we go back. The examiner will want you to park the front of the vehicle just in line at the front of the trailer. Once you're in position, apply the handbrake and make sure you're in neutral. So once you've removed the kingpin and the actual kingpin is open, it's key important that you remove the vehicle number plate. Again, so once you've got your vehicle into position, the examiner may ask you to exit the vehicle at this point. If they don't ask you to exit, don't worry. What the examiner will state to you now is that they will ask you that the trailer on the left hand side of the tractor unit is a new trailer that you haven't seen before. And what they will ask you now is, can you hook up the tractor unit and the trailer to make it one unit? So we're going to get back into the vehicle again, remembering my 3 points of contact, using the grab handles and coming on up. Again, start the vehicle on up, placing the vehicle into drive and moving off. And what I'm going to do now is just bring the vehicle over to the left in front of the trailer. At this point, it's key and important that the tractor unit doesn't touch the trailer. Roughly, I'm going to park roughly between 2 meters and 1 meter away from the trailer. Once I've got in position, stop the vehicle, apply the handbrake and switch off the engine. Exiting the vehicle, making sure I've got my 3 contact, coming out backwards, and again make sure that the door is fully closed. So what the examiner is looking for you to do now is to check to make sure that the height of the 5th wheel is at a good height to go underneath the trailer. As you come round to the front of the trailer, what you want to make sure of is that your electrical connections and your air lines are in a good condition. Some trailers, not all trailers, will state the height of the trailer, but do take note of the height of the 5th wheel, as if you look on the back of the tractor unit, the 5th wheel on this height is actually at 1250. As we come on round now, the next thing we want to make sure is we're checking the VTG6 plate. On this trailer it's located at the front. On other trailers it may be located in other areas, and it's important to check with your trainer to make sure that you know where they are. What I'm visually doing now as I come down to this side of the trailer is a visual check to make sure that there's no damage on the trailer, but the trailer is in good condition to go out onto the road. It's important now when I come round here that I actually check to make sure that the trailer brake is actually applied. If you do not do this on the 3A test, you will be unsuccessful. As I'm coming down the side of the trailer, I'm checking to make sure that my wheels, tyres and wheel nuts are all legal to be out onto the road, and if there is spray suppression system fitted as well as we have here, that it is also fitted and not in any contact with the wheels as well. Coming round to the back of the trailer, it's a visual inspection, and it's always recommended to start from the top. So I'm checking to make sure that I've got my lights all in place, that the rear door is in good condition and it is down, making sure that it's locked as well. I'm checking the overall light condition to make sure that they are all good. Okay, no cracks, all don't look broken at the moment. I've placed my number plate in place, but also making sure that my reflectors and my underrun bar are in the position as well. Similar to the other side, I'm checking again for any damage on the trailer, and again it's important to make sure that we check tyres, wheels, side suppression, and making sure your wheel nuts are correct as well on both wheels. And I'm going to move into the cab now and start to ready to bring the tractor unit underneath the trailer. In the vehicle, you've got your 3 points of contact. So again, starting up the vehicle and selecting reverse gear. It's important now that you keep your vehicle nice and smooth and controlled, and not be too fast or aggressive in bringing the vehicle actually underneath the trailer. So checking both mirrors, moving my blind spot, and just bringing the vehicle underneath the trailer. Small adjustments may be needed with the vehicle steering and bring it into the correct position. And what I'm looking for now is as soon as the wheel arches and I feel the 5th wheel go under, which is roughly about now, I know now that the actual tractor unit is under the trailer. This is where I'm going to apply the handbrake. I'm going to bring up my vehicle suspension controller. And now what I'm looking for now is that when I press the button to the right, the arrows go red, and now I'm pressing the up button. Once I've pressed the up button, I may need to increase the air pressure just slightly by revving the engine, put the holder back in place, and I'm just watching now when the trailer starts raising in the right mirror to know now that my legs are clear of the floor, if I'm not going to cause any damage to the vehicle legs. Once the vehicle's up and the legs are up, I'm now going to select reverse and slow. And what I'm looking at the moment now, as I come back, just nice and slowly, I'm looking now for a slight movement within the trailer. When I see that slight movement, so again, we're going to be close to engaging on the kingpin. And what I'm listening for is 3 clicks. So once I see the trailer slightly move, what I'm listening for now is the 3 clicks. Nice and slowly back in. Once I've got all my clicks, now it's important to do what we call the tug test. So I'm now putting the vehicle into drive and doing 2 tugs. So it's 1 and 2. Know that the actual vehicle is now properly engaged. Put the handbrake on, switch off the vehicle, make sure the vehicle is in neutral as well. So at exiting the vehicle, make sure you bring your gloves and using your 3 points of contact and come on out. It's important now at this stage that you do not touch the kingpin handle. When reversing back under and all those different clips that you're hearing, it actually locks the kingpin in for you. So you do not need to touch the kingpin handle. When coming on underneath, what I'm looking for now is we're doing blacking backwards. So now we're going to do C, which is clip. We get the clip, make sure that we can see the hole where it's going to go on in, pull it on down and make sure it's locked in place. When you move away from this stage, do not be put off by the examiner coming over and physically checking to make sure that this is in place. It's part of the things that health and safety that they do to ensure that the clip is in place and that when they go to move off with the vehicle, that the actual trailer is correctly connected. The next thing we're going to move on now to is A, our airlines and ancillaries. As before, you're going to open your wind deflector, and depending on trailer, it might change in what order that you're going to. With this trailer, as the electrics are below the airline, it is easier for me to do the electrics first and the airlines afterwards. So as before, it's really important to make sure that I don't get the airlines twisted, and the electric cables as well. So again, white to white, your trainer will discuss which lines go where with you on your Pacific trailer, and the black one. When we come to do the ABS lead, as I mentioned before, we have the metal clip on here. It's important that this clip, make sure that it's in the locked position. So as I put it on in, make sure nothing gets tangled, lifting it up, push it on in, and ensure to make sure that that clip is in the locked position. Coming around to my airlines, similar to what we do before, we're going to make sure that the dot is correctly aligned. And a good trick that you can do here is once you've got it aligned, hold the collar down. With both hands, you will need to push fully on up. Make sure once it's in place, it's locked, that you twist the collar. Again with the other airline, line up the dot, push the collar up. When you put the connector in, the collar will remain up. Use both hands and push up and twist. It's important not to wiggle or put any strain on the airlines when you're pushing them on in. Coming back on down, again remembering my 3 points of contact, using that, and again make sure that the wind deflector is put back into the correct position. Now we're going to do L, which is now raising the legs back into the position, ready to go out onto the road. Bring the handle out, make sure it's pulled all the way out, and roll the handle to bring the legs up. Make sure that you put the handle back in the correct place and it's stored away safely for going out on the road. The next thing we're going to do now is take off the trailer brake. Pull up the collar and push down. Give it a few seconds just to make sure that it is all safe and has stayed in the lockdown position. After we've done that, the next stage we're going to do now is what we call the light check and ensure that we level out the suspension on the actual tractor unit itself. At this point now you can put your gloves away, entering into the cab, and up we come. At this point you don't need to start the engine. All you will need to do is just press the stop start button to bring the ignition on. Switch on the headlights, ensure that the front fog lights, if they are fitted, and rear fog lights are on as well. Make sure you apply your hazards, and depending on the vehicle type, your trainer will tell you in which button to use to re-level the suspension on the actual tractor unit. Exiting the cab, again making sure you've got your 3 points of contact, closing the door, and now is a visual inspection now to make sure that all the lights are on. So I'm checking my lights here, I'm checking the marker lights, of ensuring that the trailer is actually nice and level. And we're checking all the physical lights now to make sure that they're all good, clean and in working order, not cracked or broken. The rear of the trailer, I'm checking to make sure that the marker lights at the top are working and also the lights at the back are working correctly. Don't worry about checking the reversing lights at the moment. What you will find now is that the examiner now will probably roughly stand to where I am, and you will ask the examiner, can you help me check my brake lights please? At this point now, you walk back to the cab. Ensure that when entering the cab again, you're using your 3 points of contact. Bring into the cab. In the passenger seat. Again, when exiting the vehicle, make sure you're using your 3 points of contact. And obviously then you may need to want to speak to the examiner afterwards.